everyone. Edna Kimball, Edna Sells. Thank you so much for joining us on today's podcast. We have Jon Bloodworth with us. Jon, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And for those of you who are not familiar with Jon, I have some of his stats here that I wanted to take you through.
Right.
He has not seen what we've pulled, right?
My stat
Your
card.
stat card, absolutely. Good. So, number one and foremost, he bought a home from me 10 years ago.
Absolutely.
It's a good stat.
Still
good
there.
Stat, absolutely. And he's a personal trainer certified through the ISSA, which is International Sports Science Association. Love that. He has a podcast and then a fitness coach at NSU Fit previously.
Absolutely.
A personal trainer. You've been the personal trainer
for a number of years now.
Yeah, forever. And currently, this is the one I really wanted to dig into. Okay. Certified pain-free performance coach.
Okay, absolutely.
Pain-free.
Pain-free, right.
That is what I'm all about. How do we get the pain-free and performance?
Right.
And then the other thing that I'm not going to let you get out of here without talking about is you are scheduled to run 100 miles.
100 miles this October, yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We can talk all about it.
Okay.
On purpose. I signed up for that. Yes.
The challenge of it all. Well, first off, tell us about the pain-free and what you actually do.
Okay, so I am PPSC certified with Dr. John Russin. Pain-free performance. So you got to be careful with that because, if you're working out, if you're training, if you're going to the gym, there's pain associated with it. We all know that. But there's a difference between the pain of muscle fatigue and the pain of like joint and tendon injury, right? Like actually having injury. So pain-free performance comes from the aspect of I am there to help you in more of a physical therapy aspect to get you out of pain and to hopefully, the idea would be kind of bulletproof your joints and tendons to where the pain no longer happens again. And that comes from a history of myself being in lots of pain as well. And that's really what inspired me to get in this field of work in the first place, was getting out of pain myself.
Okay. So, and because I'd mentioned that Jon and I go way back, interestingly enough, we have not had any connection in that 10 years. Right. I can't believe that. But we both looked a little different 10 years
Definitely. We've made some transformations for sure.
Absolutely. Yes. I said when I saw Jon recently, I was like, oh my gosh, he glowed up.
Yeah.
That's like a glowed up thing.
Likewise.
Yes.
Likewise.
And so what started your transformation and this pain-free aspect? I love that.
Right. So a number of years ago, nearly a decade ago at this point, there's been, so I suffered some injuries, right? Just from a combination of not taking care of myself properly, from, I was a competitive CrossFitter, I was dabbling in powerlifting and all these different types of sporting events on the side, and I wasn't taking care of myself properly. I wasn't eating properly, I wasn't doing anything the way that it should be done, and I suffered some injuries. So I had 3 herniated discs, and my mid-20s were spent, I would wake my wife up in the morning to tie my shoes for me because I couldn't reach my feet, right? Like, that's a 26-year-old man doing that, right? So like a lot of times now when I'm dealing with clients and stuff that are older and older in their 40s, right? Like something like that. And I'm like, they say like, oh, I've got all this pain and whatnot. And I'm like, well, hey, my prime was robbed from me. Like I didn't have, people like they're all mid-20s when all people are like, back in my 20s, I used to bench press 300 pounds and all this stuff. Like I didn't have any of that. When my mid-20s, I couldn't tie my own shoes. So I saw a number of specialists and doctors and whatnot. I was going to this spinal doctor in Muskogee, and I'll never forget the day. Like I went to him numerous times, tried everything. You try pills first, and then the injections they give you, the things to like reduce swelling and all this stuff. And I'll never forget the day I walked in, he saw me, and he threw a clipboard on his table, and he said, Jon, you need surgery. I don't know why you keep coming to me. And I had such a negative response to that. I was like, I'm 26 and I don't want surgery. There has to be another option out there. So I found a company just through, Instagram, right? Like just found them, called The Active Life, and you can look those people up as well. But everything they marketed was like music to my ears. It was like, hey, get pain-free without going to the doctor, without skipping your workout. Like, hey, are you annoyed that you can't work out like you used to? You need to talk to us. And I was like, I think I need to talk to these people. Yeah. And so I did. And I talked to them, I reached out to them, and through Zoom, right? Like through the internet alone. I'm not seeing anyone in person. These people took me from not being able to tie my own shoes to being able to actually work out again. And then, I saw they were having a live in-person clinic and seminar like in Frisco, Texas. I was like, that's close enough. Let's go. Went there, spent a weekend with these amazing coaches, these amazing people, and these people transformed me from being riddled with pain to being now stronger than I've ever been in my entire life. I mean, completely pain-free, and not only pain-free, like stronger than I ever was in my 20s or in my teens or in high school or anything like that. And it just inspired me to be like, there are other people out there like this.
Oh yeah.
There's tons. There's millions of people out there that are like, that are like I was, which is like the most miserable mindset, which is like, I used to introduce myself and, hi, I'm John, I've got the bad back. Like, and people just tell themselves that, hi, I'm whoever with the bad knee, the bad ankle, the bad wrist, and all this stuff. And I was like, you got to get out of that mindset. And it's all about like telling yourself, like I always tell my clients, like we're writing a story, right? We're the main characters of our own story. It's so, so important to visualize that. And what's a better story? Like you're reading a book and it's your life, right? Is the book better if it's like, I'm Edna and I've got a bad back and I couldn't tie my shoes for the rest of my life? Or I recovered from my back pain, I became an athlete again, and now I can share this with millions of other people. Like, that's the story we want to read, right? So telling people the right story, and that's what led me here, right? I'm pain-free, never had surgery, and I'm trying to share that with other people now.
So there's a magic pill that they sell you?
Right, yeah. The magic pill is just opening the brain, right? No magic pill.
Okay, I love that actually.
Yes,
I love that there's no magic pill.
Yes.
Because there's not,
there's
right?
Not.
Yeah.
No.
And really, I love the idea that you really have taken on the story aspect of it, because are you the victim of these things that happen to you, or did some things happen and you've overcome them?
Absolutely.
And I can usually tell within a few minutes of meeting someone, are they the victim of the story or are they the hero of the story?
Right.
And I love that you're the hero of your story.
Thank you.
So
Trying, yes.
Yes, that's great. So definitely it's more of a homeopathic maybe approach. Eat right, sleep.
Of course.
Do the lifts correctly.
Absolutely.
Retrain the joints before you start.
Just reintroduce yourself to the entire process of being active and whatnot. And that's the thing. There is no magic pill. It is just about doing things properly and helping people understand how destructive stress is to your life and whatnot. And pulling, I have more conversations with clients about their sleeping habits than I do their push-ups. Whatever. Push-ups are hard, but I ask people to sleep 8 hours a night, and they're like, "Whoa! Are you crazy? 8 hours a night? Let me do 1,000 push-ups." No, So it's helping people readjust the system that they're in and getting them to focus on the things that are actually going to make the big improvements.
Yeah, and sleep is so important.
Yes.
I always say, in college, I would sit around with my friends, and we would be like, I only slept 4 hours. Yeah, I slept 2 hours. Yeah, I only got 30 minutes here and there.
Right.
And now we brag about, well, I went to bed at 8:30. Oh yeah, I
Yes.
went to bed at 8:20.
Yes.
Because
Absolutely.
we've gotten smarter. So.
Absolutely.
But it does make all the difference.
It really does.
Yeah, absolutely. So where does the mindset come in for you? Because again, I knew you. You looked slightly different than
Definitely.
you do now.
I was a different person. Right.
Absolutely. So obviously you hired a coach and they
Yes.
kind of helped you with it. But again, that doesn't just come because you paid someone to do it. So where does that?
Just lots of evolutions and constant little, I call them little deaths, right? You go through these. I was a completely different person last time you met me. Yeah. A totally different human being.
Same
of course, right? I was complacent
There was two of me there.
Yes, right. But I was complacent to a life of, at that time I worked at a grocery store. There's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But all it did was fulfill, whatever, financial goods, I guess. It didn't fulfill anything within me at all. You just go through the motions, and getting with those coaches and helping understand myself and getting out of pain and whatnot. And then, that led to getting certified myself and working with them to actually get educated in their ways and all that stuff, and the pain-free performance and all those good things. But I say now that being a personal trainer is that's where I make the most money right now, is being a personal trainer. But I don't really love the definition of a personal trainer. I see so many bad ones out there. So it's such an entry level thing, right? You can really just like pay online and be called a personal trainer. Like, I mean, it's nothing super special. So making people do workouts is not the most important thing I do, but helping them change their mindset and visualize what's important in life. Like really dial down, like, why are you coming to see me? You want to lose 10 pounds. Okay, that's not a good enough reason. Why do you want to lose 10 pounds? And boiling it down, like, what happened in your life? Where are we at? And it's like eventually you find out, like, well, I just know that I'm unhealthy. Yeah, cool. What else? Like, what else? Let's go. And eventually gets down to like, I don't know that my husband finds me attractive anymore. Like, and it's tough to have, but conversations like this are the most important part of my job. Yeah. So I refer to myself as a mindset coach a lot because I'm constantly trying to help people evolve that mindset. And man, people set their limitations so low, like so crazy low, and it just frustrates me. Like, and we can talk for hours about how frustrated I get about people setting their ceilings so low. But yeah, that's just where I'm at right now, is just helping people visualize that they're capable of way more than they think they are.
Yeah, and I so agree with you. I think it always goes back to the why.
Yeah.
Why?
Right.
It's not, I want to look better. That's not really a why.
Right.
My why was, I have two beautiful granddaughters.
Right.
And they were very, very active at a very young age. And I decided, hey, I want to stay active with them.
Right.
And hired someone with the same kind of mindset, and they were able to help me. And then I took it a step farther, and I hired a local cheer coach to help me learn to do the splits, so I could surprise the grandchildren.
Hey, I love it. That's amazing.
Yeah, so I can't now because I've got the new hip, but I may get back to that.
Hey, you never know. Yeah, never say never. That's right.
Yes, exactly.
That's right. I love it.
But it really is about the why, and I love that. So, and again, I didn't prep you for this, but what was your why? What was your...
So there's a lot that goes into that. I mean, I had my own issues with pain and whatnot, but I've also just, my family, who I love, I love all my family members. My father passed away recently. He's my favorite human being in the world. He passed away recently. And like, the fact of the matter is though, like I can put him on a pedestal as much as I want, but my family is pretty weak. They're metabolically diseased, things like diabetes and all that stuff, like it's ravaging them. And I'm just like, that. I always ask myself this question. I have a team, like if you follow me on social media, you can see my team of people that are always around me and I love, and that's another topic we can discuss or not, but like the people you surround yourself with is so crucial for your lifestyle, right?
Show me the 5 people you spend the most time with, and I'll tell you what your weight and your bank account and your mindset are.
There you go. But I just saw, I talk to them all the time about this, but I'm like, man, there's a path in my life. I don't necessarily know exactly where it's at, but there's a path where I could have went right, but instead I went left and it landed me here. And I'm like, oh my God, what if I would have turned right? Like that would have been so terrible probably if I would have ended up in the same condition that the family did. So I call it reverse role models, right? I have reverse role models in my life and I love them. And even if they listen to this podcast, I want them to know that I love them. But like, most of my family and some friends along the way were reverse role models to me. They showed me the example of what I did not want to become.
Don't you think, though, that being aware of the fact that there was that split, and fortunately it gives you compassion to help other people?
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Because, like I always say, there go I, but by the grace of God, because... same situation. You just, it could go either way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I think having the compassion, and that really comes through. Like, I'm such an avid follower of yours on Facebook.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Stuff you used to put out there, I'm like, it's like sometimes it's a 1-2 punch in the face.
I appreciate that because I've also realized along this journey that I'm on now that I'm not for everyone. I get that. And at first that kind of rubbed me the wrong way when I was like, I'm a personal trainer. I got to help everyone. I got to say yes to everyone. But when I realized like, oh, I'm not for everyone, and that's okay because neither are you. And and you can reach people that I can't, and vice versa. Like your personal trainer can reach people that I can't. Yeah. That's actually kind of beautiful. Like it's great because there are different people that'll vibe with me far more than they would with anyone else, and vice versa. So
your vibe attracts your tribe.
Yes, there you go.
And that's the great thing about social media is if you can't stand my voice, because I know my voice.
Right.
If you can't stand my voice, then we're not going to be able to mesh and work well together. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So, I mean, it's my mom jokes and all of those things.
Yeah,
you know,
it makes you though. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're still watching, then I haven't turned you off yet.
Exactly.
And therefore, we can probably work together.
Absolutely.
So,
I love it.
yeah, but you definitely have a very transparent and straightforward.
Yes.
No excuses is what I would say.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, and I've struggled with that at times when I'm like, man, am I being too harsh? But here's the fact. Like, if you follow me on social media, you see the double swords and stuff that I put on every post is the swords. It's kind of my icon and calling card. And like, and I've had these discussions with friends. I've got really good friends that I have potlucks with on the weekend that are like, hey, I just want you to know I had to unfollow you on social media. And I'm like, look, it's okay. It's okay. But I'm like, here's the thing. I could take all of my posts and at the very bottom, I could put an asterisk and I could put, this does not apply to everyone. Please consult, blah, 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 all this stuff. I get that. But there are also people out there that will take that as an excuse to be like, oh, good, he's not talking to me. Good. And I was like, no, actually, I was talking to you. Like, you're just using that as another excuse, right? Like, and so I don't. So some of them come off super direct. I get that. It could be a does the shoe fit, wear it kind of situation or not. But like, hey, if it doesn't work for you, that's cool. Just unfollow me. It's no big deal. Or let's talk about it. That's the best. So discussions.
That's the best.
Talking is. I'm a talker. I love to talk, and I want to have the discussions. I want people to ask why. Like, never be afraid to ask why. Absolutely.
Yes, you went to. You're a member of the chamber. We love that. Mm-hmm. You went to one of the mingle things, and Annalise on the sales team came back and said, I've got this guy that you have to talk to. And when she said your name, I was like, I follow him. I know him. Yes.
Right.
And because you just have this energy about you that really, again, I think your tribe, your vibe attracts your tribe. But for those of you watching, I don't want you to necessarily just go to the Facebook thing and feel punched in the face and walk away. Because I think that when if you're thinking about starting a journey, you really do need someone to be super blunt and honest with you.
Very transparent.
And my first real estate coach, like I hired a real estate coach, and my excuse was, I've done as much as I can do. I can't do anymore.
Right.
And I just felt, sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Right.
And so he was like, well, what physical? And I was like, well, yoga at the time, but I can't, blah, blah. And he just kept saying, well, why can't you? And then I'd say, well, because of this. No, that's just an excuse. And I'd say, well, because of that, that's an excuse. And I got so mad at him. Like, I was like, I could fire you.
Of course, yeah.
And he was like, yeah, and then where are you going to be in a year?
Yes.
I was like,
It's a conversation I have with people a lot is you already know what happens if you quit. You already know, because you were there a month ago or whenever it was. Like, you know what's going to happen if you stop. So,
But your process, how long do you think it took? Like, what is...
Of actually getting out of pain and all that? Oh, man, it took a good couple years, to go from 0 to feeling amazing, 0 to 100, I guess you could say. But that's another thing, and that goes with working out in general. Like, you might have gotten out of shape over the course of the last 20 years, right? Like, man, it took me 20 years to get out of shape. And then the thing is, people go to the gym for 2 weeks and they're like, where's my results? And I'm like, here's the thing. It took you 20 years to get out of shape. And now you're mad about these 2 weeks. But if you gave it 2 years, just 2 out of the 20 that you wasted getting out of shape, give it 2 years and you'll transform. So it actually is faster process that way.
And here's the thing, guys who are listening. This is the real deal. He just told you. It's not going to happen overnight.
Oh, no. Yeah, absolutely
so the ones that are telling you that it's a secret or it's a pill or it's a blah, 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 there is no secret.
There is no secret.
And I think it goes back to the old, I think it's a Chinese proverb that when is the best time to plant a tree?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it would have been great to have planted that tree 2 years ago.
Exactly.
But it's okay.
It's also okay to plant it today.
Today, But I've had so many people who have contacted me and said, what's the process, how long? And when they find out how long, they're no longer interested.
Right.
So,
but anything good, it's worth putting in the hard work. And my favorite thing, this is what I ask of myself. Like, I do crazy hard physical challenges. I've done a bunch this year, and I'm doing the 100-mile race later and stuff.
Tell us about some of these challenges.
So I'll tell you right now,
With
like
no pain.
right, with no pain. Well, no pain, you know, like the bad pain, the joint pain and stuff, but the pain of fatigue by far.
Absolutely.
So pushing myself to the absolute physical limit is just something that I actually spoke to Annalise about this at the mingle, but like, and this kind of ties into the 100-mile race and whatnot. But I am an incredibly physically capable person, and I think that my most recent transformations, I've been like, man, I need to level up emotionally in a lot of ways. I'm not the best at that. I don't really have the science for that. How do I become a more emotional, vulnerable, you know, 6 foot tall, tattooed, buff guy? Like, I don't know. How do I become more vulnerable? I do know this though. I know for a fact that physical and emotional, like the psyche of it all is reciprocal. So I know that if you push yourself hard enough physically, you can also level up emotionally. And pushing myself through these crazy hard physical challenges has helped me kind of unlock some new stuff in my brain. And this year, the hardest, I'll tell you right now, I've been a competitive CrossFitter, power lifter, all these things. And the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, I did just a few months ago. I woke up one day and I said, you know what I'm gonna do today? I'm gonna walk 100,000 steps. I'm gonna walk. That's it. Like so I ask a lot of clients. I'm like, can we get to where we can walk 10K a day? Like that's the goal, right?
I've got my Fitbit.
10K a day.
I'm
yeah,
happy when
absolutely.
I'm at 6,800 right now.
That's awesome.
Went
right.
to the gym this morning.
That's great.
Yep.
That's great.
So I probably won't hit the 10.
Hey, that's okay. But I ask people, you know, and I evaluate them, and I'm like, how many do you get in a yes? Many do you get in a day? And we try to elevate it from there. But I was like, I want to walk 100,000 in a day. I think I can do that. I was
in
like,
a 24 hour?
In a 24-hour period, yes. That was my goal. Or honestly, more like in a 18-hour period or so. And
John, I was feeling really good.
I promise you I've only done it once, by the way. But I woke up, you know, I 7 a.m. I stepped outside my doors, I started walking. And by 9 a.m., I regretted every decision I'd made. I was like, I looked at my watch and I'm like, oh my God, like, and I started doing the math. And I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be this late before I can get to 100,000. Why did I do this? Why did I post this on social media? And that's the thing too. When you, I'm so big on like calling yourself out. So like, put it out there. Go ahead and say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do X. I'm going to learn how to do push-ups. I'm going to learn how to do Pilates or yoga. I'm going to walk 100,000. Yes, put it out there. But then you got to be able to write that check, right? You got to be able to pull through. So I was like, I put it out there, and I was like, what are my options? How can I cheat this? Can I cheat it? Can I cheat this? Can I put my watch on my dog and like have him walk or something? And then I'm like, but I'll know.
Yes.
Like I'll know that I didn't do it. No matter, I could wait till 10 p.m. and I could post a selfie, sweaty with like spray water bottle on my face and be like, I did it. Oh, it was so brutal. Or I could have that number and screenshot my watch and I could be like, this is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And literally walking 100,000 steps. I mean, some of it was running because I was like, oh my God, I gotta get this done. And I learned so much about myself doing that challenge. Just about like, I mean, because I have so many people, and I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have so many people that come up to me and say, dude, you're so inspiring and all this stuff, even before I began the current journey that I'm on. And I started thinking about all these different iterations of myself, like when I was in my 20s and in my early 30s and stuff. And I'm like, man, people look up to those versions of me, and I kind of despise those versions of me. Like they were weak, and I'm so much stronger now. And look what I'm doing. Like that version of me could have never walked 100,000 steps in a day. And it was just, it was very empowering. I was like, I am the stronger person now than those people that people put on a pedestal. So I don't know, like that challenge was so incredibly brutal. I recently did this Navy SEAL challenge where it was 4 hours and 40 some odd minutes of just nonstop working out. I did that here in town recently. And I mean, you get to the point you ever done a kettlebell swing or anything like that? A kettlebell swing? So I got to the point where I had to do these kettlebell swings, and in the middle of the kettlebell swings, my hand completely cramped up into just a ball. Like I couldn't open it because I'd been working out for 3 hours at that point. And you have to finish the 200 reps or whatever it is, or they just eliminate you or whatever. And I'm like, man, so you set the kettlebell down, you rip your hands open, and you just keep going and that's what I told my team. I was like, yes, here's what you ask yourself, all right? Here's the magic pill. I'm gonna give you the magic pill. This is the magic pill right here. If you don't take anything else away from this podcast, here we go. So here's what I do. I stop for a second and I say, John, did you sign up for this? And I was like, yes, I chose to do this. This is willing. And then number 2, I say, did you expect this to be hard? Did you expect a 4-hour workout to be hard? Well, yeah, of course. Yeah. And then the final point is, this is what hard feels like. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I signed up for this. This is it. Every race I've ever done, the 100,000 steps I walked, marathons I've done, all these things, I'm not big on medals. So another big thing that my team knows about me is like when I run a half marathon, they give you a medal at the end and I throw it in the trash. So no, but keep it. I love you people that keep it and you want to show them to people. That's amazing. But I remind myself when I'm out there in the middle of a marathon running, I'm like, man, this is hard. This sucks. I want to stop. And then I'm like, but I signed up to run. I didn't sign up for the medal that every single one of these people is going to get just for finishing. I signed up to run. So this is the part I want. So why am I complaining? Let's go. That solves so many problems for me in my life. Just about like, this is, I wanted it to be hard. And guess what, homie? This is what hard feels like.
You got it. Yeah. But now you've doubled down and you're doing the 100 mile. Now, where is that?
So it is here in Tahlequah at Eagle Bluff Resort, I believe. And apparently this is the some odd annual, they've done tons of them apparently.
In some of my Airbnbs that were doing it, but I didn't really know the details.
Yeah, so it's called the Pumpkin Holler 100. It's in October. Yeah. Last year, I took my team and we did a 10-mile run. So they have like a 10-mile run, a 15-mile, a 20K, a 50K, and then the 100-miler, right? It's the big one. And I was just like, we did the 10-miler, and it was very quick after that. I want to say it was either later in that very month of October last year or in November where I was like, I think I'll do the 100-mile. And everyone's like, really? But then my team, though, they know that if I say, if it's Sunday and I say, hey, I'm going to run 10 miles today, they know there's only 2 options. I'm either going to run 10 miles, I'm going to run 11 miles. Yeah. Right? Like, that's the only option. So if I say it, they know that I'm going to do it, or at least put everything into it that I can to possibly get it done. And this is just another way that I'm trying to emotionally kind of level up. Like I described it to some of them as being like, hey, I'm going to level up emotionally, and it's going to be like taking a flight from going from California to Hawaii, I'm going to go from California to Maine to Europe to Hawaii that way. I'm going to go a long way to get there because it's the only way I know to do. I'm such a physical person. Like, it's the only way that I know to do it, and I'm willing to do it. So I'm going to go for it. And if I can set the example, I tell people all the time, like, if you want my job description, I teach like incredibly average people that they can do exceptionally unaverage things. And
okay, wait, say that again.
Okay.
Because I love that. Okay.
I like to teach incredibly average people, which is just all of us.
Yeah.
That they can do exceptionally unaverage things.
I love that.
And one of the only ways that I know to write that formula is to just be the example.
Show them.
Just show them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very big on, like, if I'm the leader of this team, then I have to know when it's okay for me to be in the front and they all look at my back and follow me because they trust me. I have to know when I need to be in the middle to control the pace that they're all going at. And I have to know when I need to be in the very back to push the slowest person. Like, I have to know where to be at what time. It's so important. And to do that, I push myself as physically incredibly hard as I possibly can. And I'm so big on just being ready at all times. It is like nothing makes me more sad. Like it wants to bring me to tears if I think about, like, man, my teammate needed me. They were like, man, I wish I could get ready for this OKC marathon, but nobody else is in shape to run. If I wasn't there for them, if I was like, yeah, I wish I would have kept myself in shape so I could coach you. No, I'm gonna be in shape at all times of the year so I can help them if they need.
Well, and I think what's unique is that you do push yourself so physically, but having followed you and knowing your story, you have compassion for the person who walks in and is, more my age and 50 pounds overweight and in pain and just where do I start? And you don't start them, you don't make them feel. No. But I think that's so important for those who are watching, for them to understand, because that's your thing.
Yes.
And you understand that that's not going to be.
It's not for everyone. And I have 16-year-old clients. I have 76-year-old
Oh,
clients.
that's great.
Like,
yeah.
I love working with anyone, and I have my preferences and whatnot, and compassion is such a huge part of the job. And also, like, physically, the way that I look at times, like black hair, black beard, tattoos, all this stuff, like being extra nice goes a long way for me. And letting them know, like, hey, I'm here for you, I'm on your team. Those teammates that I talk about, like, if you employ me as your trainer, you are on my team now, and I will be there for you every step of the way. So yes, no, I do not expect anyone to be like, well, I guess I got to run 100 miles now too. Absolutely not. No way. Like, yeah.
And if they follow him on social media, because I do think to know you, to like you, to trust you is something that can happen through social media.
For sure.
Because eventually the real you, whatever that is, will come out.
Yes.
So I think that's really important.
Thank
So
you.
so then, what is the farthest that you've ran at this point? Now you're going to be doing the 100 in October.
Right.
So you're building up to it.
Yes, I am. So the furthest I've ran in one sitting at this point is 15 miles. Like, like that's the furthest I've ran nonstop, just going, right? So currently, the only absolutely regular thing that I do is I run every Sunday. We do pretty long runs, and we do it as a team. Right now, I joked with them this Sunday. I was like, it's day one all over again, y'all, because we have to get used to this heat now. Like we were just steadily increasing mileage, and now it's like, oh, we tried to do that when it hit 89 degrees, and I was like, everybody died, right? I'm like, no. Like, we have to now reacclimate to this heat. Let's do that, and now that's what we're slowly doing it. But I'll start ramping it up. I have other challenges on the way to October. In July, I'm going to be running a 12-hour endurance runs where they set a clock for 12 hours and you run a loop, and whoever gets the most loops done is the winner. It's a 3-mile loop, so I have that coming in July to get ready for that. I expect that to be the most miles I've ever ran in a day. I plan to get at least 40, if not 50 miles in that day. So
I'm going to go out on a limb here. Do you know who David Goggins is?
I do know David Goggins. Yes.
You're sounding a lot like
I'm a
David
Goggins fan.
Yes,
of course.
Me too.
Of
Have you ever
course.
got to see him in person?
I'm not. No.
I've been to 2 events where he was a speaker,
awesome.
and he's the real blankety blank. He does cuss a whole lot.
Yes,
but he's the real deal.
I read his book recently. Yeah.
Oh, you can't hurt me. Is that?
Don't Hurt Me. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Don't Hurt Me. Yeah.
So,
he has a new one I have not read yet called Never Finished, but I'll add that to my list for sure.
His,
Good.
And it's on Audible too.
Yes,
so for those of you who say I don't read, then get it on Audible.
Get you an Audible. It's worth it. It's very good.
Put in the earplugs because the kiddos.
Yeah, definitely. Yes.
But again, the real deal. So really, John, what I think I hear you saying is it's all about the mindset and overcoming what your struggle is.
Yes, your individual struggle. Yeah. So I call it my biggest philosophy point that people get to hear me preach about, I call madman's knowledge. All right, so let me tell you about madman's knowledge. Okay. It's got 3 big points. All right, madman's knowledge is, number 1, you're never ready. Like, you're never going to be ready. A really good buddy of mine named Josh Owen says, there is no blinking neon sign that says, go. You just have to go. Sometimes you just have to say yes, like you just have to do it. So you're never going to be ready. Let's just take the risk. Another man named Tom Bilyeu says that 1,000 steps in the wrong direction is better than standing still. And it took me a long time to actually comprehend what that meant, but that goes into like failure is the most rich, valuable information stream that we can possibly have. Like winning kind of just teaches you like, hey, I can't lose. But failure teaches you what you need to do to win. Right? So like that's what I love about that. So that's number 1 of madman's knowledge. You're never ready. Number 2 is life is an infinite game. And if you follow me on social media, you hear the infinite game thing a lot. I love that concept. And that is basically like all of the greatest things in life are games that can't be won. And that's okay. And that's like your fitness and your health. You never just get so fit that you're like, done, I'm out. Now, the modalities can change. The amount of time you spend in the gym can change. All that stuff can change. Goals can change. That's fine. But you never just get so fit that you just stop, right? So that's an infinite game. You keep playing that over and over and over. And then, I mean, even concepts like, I don't know, love, right? Like being in love is an infinite game because, yeah, you can earn love. You can get married with your one true love and all that good stuff. But you know what? It can also be lost. Yeah. Like you can also lose it. That's an infinite game. That's something you continuously have to play. And that's kind of why I throw the medals away after races. Because, yeah, I want to win. The race is a very just, boom, you get 5K done, you get a medal. boom, whatever. The medal means nothing to me. It's the race itself, which never ends. That's the infinite game for me. And then the last part of Madman's knowledge is that every single day is a funeral. That's why we're black, right? That's why I only wear black, because every day is a
Do you
funeral.
really only wear
I only wear black, and
oh my gosh! Okay.
I'm Jon Bloodworth. I'm also Johnny Cash. So, but no, I always wear black, and the reason is every day is a funeral for me. And what I mean by that is, and this goes in line with David Goggins for sure, is that I do all these crazy challenges, of course, but please know for a fact that I wake up just like everyone else, and I look at my running shoes and I go, oh God, not again. Not again, not another run. Oh no, not another workout I have to do. Oh, it's raining. Can I just stay inside today? I do that just like everyone else does. But I mean, if you know, like Pavlov's dog, right? They taught the dog to, every time they rang the bell, he wanted a treat. Eventually they didn't give him treats, and every time they rang the bell, his mouth would drool. So that's how my brain works with when I feel bad. When I'm like, oh, I feel bad, I don't want to go to the gym today, I instantly go, so today's the day I'm going to have to go to the gym. Because you have to train yourself, because everybody can do it when you feel good. Yeah. We can all do it when we feel good. Right. Absolutely. But being able to train yourself, every day is a funeral for that inner part of yourself that wants to give up. Kill it every single day. Little deaths every single day. Today is not the day that I win and I stay home and sit on the couch or whatnot. And please, everybody understand, resting is a good thing too. Yeah. We all got to rest. Especially the harder you work, the more you got to rest as well. Sleep's important, like we talked about at the beginning. But every single day is a funeral for that inner part of yourself that wants to give up. Yeah. So that's Madman's knowledge. Yeah.
I love that. Well, I think we could throw investing in that too. I tell people it's never going to be the perfect time to invest.
Of course, right.
And you're never going to have an absolute guarantee. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? With investing. So I love that. And making mistakes, you learn so much. Yes, it hurts financially.
Of course.
Yeah. But it will help you overcome the next one. So I do love that.
Absolutely.
So Jon, we should have done 2 parts today.
Oh, I'll come back someday.
We'll definitely have to have you back to talk about the team.
That's okay. Oh, of course, yeah.
And I have a feeling that we're listening to a lot of the same podcasts. What are some of your top? Because you named Tom Bilyeu.
Okay, so Tom Bilyeu, that's Impact Theory, right? That's Tom Bilyeu. Yes. Also, Modern Wisdom is one of my absolute favorite podcasts. Anything with Alex Hormozy, anything.
Oh, I love Alex Hormozy.
Some of the greatest quotes of all time came from Alex Hormozy, which reminds me of you as well, because Alex Hormozy said that confidence does not come from shouting affirmations into the mirror. Confidence comes from having an undeniable stack of evidence behind you that you are who you say you are. So you can say, I'm Edna Sells because Edna Sells, right? That's right. That's creating that icon for yourself that people can't take away from you. It's proof that you can do what you say you do, which is you can read all that stuff about me and you can hate me and see my posts and be like, I don't vibe with this dude, blah, blah, blah. Everything I say, though, I do.
Yeah,
so
that's the thing is both of our industries, we get up and start over every day. Because if I'm successful, I'm out of a job.
Right.
I sold the house.
Right.
Now I need a new client.
That's great.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's every day we wake up and have to make the team again have to do it again. And it's not for the faint of heart.
That's exactly right. It's an infinite game. That's right.
Absolutely. Well, and because it is a real estate show, I always like to loop back and ask our visitors, if you could build your dream home and money was no object, what 3 things would your dream home have?
Okay. All right, let's see. So first of all, it would be, I don't know that this is what the home has, but it would be very secluded. So it would be in the woods.
Perfect.
It would have great location. Have a great location, something like a stream that I can see from my front porch. How about a giant wraparound porch? That's something I would love to have. Massive, old school, giant wraparound porch. And of course, it's got to have just the best gym.
I saw that one coming.
Just the best gym, all the coolest stuff that you can have. Yeah, absolutely.
That is fantastic. Okay, I didn't think about the seclusion, but
yeah. That's important to me. The house itself, I'm not big on. I don't need a giant home. I don't need anything like that. I just need something comfortable. I need a home base, a bat cave, whatever. But I love being out in the woods and stuff like that. That's the serenity, that's very important to me. So that would be one.
Okay, perfect. And what we're going to do, guys, we're going to put Jon's contact information below so that you can reach out. And even if you're not ready to hire him, at least follow him, because just the things, those Sunday mornings where I'm like,
Right.
moving a little slow.
Right.
And then somehow or another, John's stuff pops up, and I'm like, get up and get out there.
A lot of the stuff that I post is because I myself am feeling that way.
See,
that
I
day,
love
right?
that,
Of
though.
course.
Yeah.
Full transparency. I feel that way, and I know that other people are feeling that way too.
Okay. And then you're in the situation where you had to have like a side personality, right? Like Sasha Fierce, Beyonce, that kind of thing. I suspect yours would be Batman. Is that true? Is that your...
I'm a big comic book nerd, and Batman is my favorite comic book character. So yeah, that sounds like a good one to go for sure.
Yes, I've been following you a little bit.
Hey, there you go.
I've kind of picked up on a few Batman references that came in there.
Of course.
Well, for a minute it was David Goggins, and I was like, no, I think you'd go for Batman.
Batman for sure. Yeah, I'll go Batman before Goggins. Yes, absolutely.
I love that. Well, we are so excited that you came on today.
Thank you for having me.
We're definitely going to have you come back because I'd love to dig into the team aspect of it.
For sure.
We're going to put all of Jon's information below so that you can reach out. Now, I know those of you who are like, wait, this is supposed to be about real estate. Guys, it is about real estate. Whether you're an investor, whether you are a first-time buyer, whether you're a seller, whatever, we want you to also be happy, healthy, and wealthy. And so being able to enjoy it and not be sick and tired of being sick and tired. So maybe you will be able to reach out to Jon or at least follow him and get some really great tips. But if you are looking to hire, his information will be below, and he could possibly help you get started on your journey of health and go from there. Jon, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. It was a pleasure.
Guys, thanks for watching. And as always, please like, follow, and share. And if you would like to be a guest on our podcast, please reach out. Or if there's someone you would like to see. And we've been getting some really great calls on that one. And Jon was actually one of those. So that's wonderful. But again, thanks everyone for watching this episode.